Have you noticed lately it feels like the world's just a bit off? Wars on the news, wildfires and floods in the headlines, people shouting on the internet, disagreeing about, well, just about everything. Sometimes I wonder if my morning coffee is the only thing that isn't in crisis. But seriously, are things actually getting worse, or do we just notice the chaos more? It's easy to feel like we're living through an endless parade of disasters. 24-hour news cycles, social media feeds, and that one friend who seems to enjoy sharing doom and gloom. Makes you want to unplug and go live in a cabin somewhere, right? Here's the thing though, humans have always lived through turbulent times. 100 years ago, people faced world wars, pandemics, and economic meltdowns. The difference now? We get updates every second, straight to our pockets. It's like the world's turned up the volume and we can't find the mute button. But that unsettling feeling, that sense the world's teetering on the edge, it's real. Global tensions are high, disasters are more visible, and a lot of folks are asking if these are just random events or warning signs that something bigger is coming. So, why does everything feel so chaotic lately? Is the world actually spinning out of control, or are we just more plugged in than ever before? Maybe the answer's in how we see the world. Or maybe it's the world itself that's changing. What do you think? Is this just history repeating itself? Or are we at the edge of something new? All right, let's talk about Armageddon. Now, I know what you're picturing. Fire, brimstone, maybe a few Hollywood explosions. But is Armageddon just blockbuster chaos, or is there more to it? From a biblical perspective, Armageddon is much bigger than just the end of the world. It's actually the name for the ultimate showdown between good and evil. Think of it as the final chess move in a very, very long game, only with a bit more thunder. So, where does the Bible actually mention Armageddon? Well, it pops up in the book of Revelation, chapter 16, verse 16, where it says, "The kings of the earth gather at a place called Armageddon." Spoiler alert, it's not just a random battlefield, but a symbol of a cosmic clash. The name itself comes from Armageddon, an actual place in ancient Israel, famous for historic battles. But is it symbolic, literal, or a bit of both? Good question. Some folks say it's a real battle, others think it's a metaphor for the struggle between right and wrong. Personally, I wouldn't start building a bunker just yet. Now, what triggers this event? According to the Bible, it kicks off when evil reaches its peak. The world basically hits moral rock bottom. And then, bam, divine judgment steps in. Are there signs to look out for? Revelation mentions things like wars, natural disasters, and some seriously strange weather. So, if your umbrella's been getting a workout lately, maybe keep an eye on things. Is Armageddon real? Well, that depends on what you believe. But one thing's for sure, it's not just about doom and gloom, it's about hope, justice, and the ultimate triumph of good. Is the world ending? Now, that's a question that'll get your neighbour talking, right after they finish panic buying canned beans. But hey, let's take a step back and see what the Bible actually says about this. The ancient texts talk about signs, wars, famines, pestilences, deception, and a general slide into moral chaos. Sound familiar? Switch on the evening news and it's like flipping through the book of Revelation with a remote. Wars. Check. Famines and pestilences. Hello, global food shortages and new viruses. Deception? Well, if you've spent 5 minutes on social media, you know the answer to that. But here's the real kicker. Have these signs ramped up, or are we just more plugged in? Are global disasters really more common? Or are we just getting the blow-by-blow on our phones while waiting for our coffee? The Bible also hints at moral decay, people turning from good, truth getting twisted, and a culture chasing after its own tail. If you're thinking, that's now, well, you're not alone. So, are we seeing prophecy unfold, or just history on repeat? Are these signs ancient warnings coming to life, or is it just another spin on the chaos carousel? And the big question, what happens after all these signs? The Bible talks about hope, yes, hope, even after the worst of storms. So, is the world ending? Maybe, maybe not. But one thing's for sure, you'll want to stick around and see how this story plays out. Have you ever wondered why people ignore warnings, even when they're flashing right in front of their faces? Think about Noah. The guy literally built a giant boat in his backyard, told everyone the world was about to flood, and people still thought he was off his rocker. They laughed, rolled their eyes, maybe even made a meme or two if they had the internet back then. But Noah wasn't the only one. From Sodom and Gomorrah to Jonah's warnings in Nineveh, there's a pattern in the Bible. People hear the alarm bells, but most just hit snooze. Why is that? Is it pride, comfort, just plain stubbornness? Or maybe we're all a bit allergic to uncomfortable truths. History has this sneaky habit of repeating itself. Every time, warnings come before a big change. Sometimes good, sometimes catastrophic. So here's the kicker. Are we any different today? We've got more information at our fingertips than ever before, yet we scroll past hard truths like they're ads for socks. Why do we turn a blind eye to the obvious? Are we, like those ancient crowds, just hoping tomorrow will be business as usual? And what happens when the warnings turn out to be real? Will we be ready? Or caught off guard, wondering how we missed the signs? So here's what I want you to think about. Why do people ignore clear warnings? Are we behaving just like past generations, dismissing what could be true? What are the consequences of spiritual blindness? And could we be making the same mistake today? If that hits home, maybe it's time to start listening a little closer. You ever notice how, when the world seems upside down, everyone suddenly claims to have the real truth? I mean, who are all these experts that pop up overnight? In uncertain times, fear spreads faster than a bad internet meme. And you know what? That fear creates the perfect breeding ground for deception. So why is deception so powerful when things get chaotic? Simple. Our brains crave certainty. When everything's confusing, our minds will grab onto anything that sounds sure, even if it's nonsense, wrapped in confidence. But here's the question. How do you spot lies when you're surrounded by noise? I'll tell you what works for me. First, slow down. If something makes you panic, ask yourself, who benefits from me being scared? Second, check your sources. If the story sounds wild, chances are it's wilder than it needs to be. And let me ask you this, are we being influenced without even realizing it? You better believe it. Algorithms feed us what we already believe. Before you know it, you're in an echo chamber, nodding along to stuff that might not even be true. So, how do I stay spiritually alert? I make time for quiet. I get away from the noise. I check my motives and remind myself, truth isn't always flashy, and it doesn't demand my fear. Look, in a world that profits off confusion, discernment is your superpower. Don't lose your head. Keep your feet on the ground and your heart anchored to what matters. So, what do you do to stay sharp in uncertain times? Let me know in the comments. Ever feel like the world's falling apart faster than a soggy biscuit? Yeah, me too. And as a Christian, it's easy to wonder, how on earth am I supposed to keep my faith steady when everything else is trembling? Let's be honest, storms are nothing new. Think about Daniel, tossed into a lion's den because he dared to pray. Or Paul, shipwrecked more times than I've lost my car keys. Their secret? They didn't let doubt or fear become their compass. Instead, they clung to the promises of God, one grip tighter with every wave that hit. So, what does true faith look like in a crisis? It's not pretending everything's fine or whistling past the graveyard. It's admitting, Lord, I'm scared, and choosing to trust Him anyway. Faith doesn't mean we never feel anxious. It means we know who's in the boat with us when the storm hits. Can faith really overcome fear and uncertainty? Absolutely. Not because we're strong, but because God is. When Peter stepped out of the boat, he walked on water, not because the sea was calm, but because he kept his eyes on Jesus. The moment he looked at the waves, splash. But when he reached for Christ's hand, he found solid ground. And endurance? That's the secret sauce. Hebrews says to run with perseverance the race marked out for us. It's not about sprinting, it's about sticking with it, even when your legs ache and the finish line feels a million miles away. So, how do we stay strong when everything shakes? By rooting ourselves in the one who never changes. In the end, faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. All right, let's get straight to it. How close are we to, well, the big event? You know the one. Whispers in the news, cryptic posts online, even that one neighbor who's always a little too prepared. People have been asking this for centuries, and honestly, no one knows the exact date or hour. If someone tells you they do, maybe don't buy that bunker just yet. But here's the catch. Just because we don't have a calendar invite doesn't mean we're in the dark. Think of it like storm clouds rolling in. You can't predict the exact moment it'll rain, but you know when to grab an umbrella. The signs, wars, wild weather, tech leaps, and let's be real, the price of coffee seem to be stacking up. So, are we closer now than ever? Statistically, every second brings us closer, right? But it sure does feel like all these signs are converging more than before. Still, obsessing over the date is missing the point. If you're checking your watch every minute, you'll forget to look around and, actually live. So, what should we be focusing on instead? Maybe, just maybe, it's less about counting down and more about stepping up. Choosing kindness, staying curious, helping your neighbor fix his Wi-Fi for the 100th time. Because living well matters more than knowing when the credits roll. How should we live, knowing the time could be near? Like every moment counts. Because it does. And at the end of the day, isn't that the sign you really can't ignore? It's funny. Everyone talks about being prepared. We've all got a friend who's got 20 cans of beans stored under their bed, but what about spiritual preparation? That's the kind of readiness you can't buy at the supermarket. Trust me, I get it. It's easy to let things slide. Life's busy. You tell yourself, I'll start praying more when things calm down. I'll work on my relationship with God right after I finish this next episode. But here's the thing. Uncertain times don't wait for us to get ready. So, what does it actually mean to be prepared? It's not about fear or panic. It's about being vigilant, keeping your eyes open and your heart tuned in. Repentance isn't just a one-time thing. It's a daily check-in with yourself and with God. Prayer? That's your direct line. No hold music, no customer service bots. Ask yourself, are you spiritually ready right now? If not, what's stopping you? Take practical steps. Start your day with prayer. End it with gratitude. Crack open that Bible, even if it's just a verse while the coffee brews. Little habits build big faith. But let's be real, what happens if we delay? We risk missing out on the peace and strength only God can give when storms hit. Preparation isn't about predicting the future. It's about trusting the one who holds it. So, what does it truly mean to be prepared? Are we ready in the ways that matter most? And if not now, when? See you next time. When most people hear the word Armageddon, they picture fire, chaos, and a whole lot of bad news. But what if I told you that's only half the story? See, Armageddon isn't just about things falling apart. According to the Bible, it's actually about putting things back together, restoring what's right, fair, and good. Think of it like a cosmic spring cleaning. Sure, there's some dust flying, but in the end, everything's fresher. Now, you might be thinking, isn't Armageddon supposed to be terrifying? Well, yeah, it sounds that way, but it's more like the end of a really bad movie and the start of a much better sequel. After the so-called end, the Bible promises justice, peace, and a new beginning. Imagine a world where suffering isn't just paused, but actually erased. So, is Armageddon something to fear or to understand? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's a wake-up call to look beyond the headlines and see the bigger picture. When everything seems dark, that's when hope shines the brightest. Why does hope still matter? Because after the end comes a new start, a chance to live with purpose, kindness, and a bit less fear. If you believe there's more to the story, you start living differently today. You forgive more, help others, and worry a little less about the chaos. So next time someone mentions Armageddon, don't just picture doom and gloom. Remember, it's also about restoration, justice, and a second chance. And who couldn't use a fresh start? Have you ever looked at the chaos in the world and wondered, is this it? Is the end really near? I know it sounds like the start of a late-night conspiracy show, but stay with me. There's more to this story than just doom and gloom. Let's talk Armageddon. Not just fire and destruction, but a divine turning point, like the ultimate plot twist. Scriptures full of signs, wars, disasters, confusion. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's hard to scroll through the news and not think, wait, am I reading prophecy or just another headline? History's packed with folks who shrugged off the warnings. They thought, it won't happen to me. Turns out, spiritual blindness isn't just bad for your soul, it's terrible for your timing. And with fear and deception on the rise, it's crazy easy to get swept up in the noise. So, what do? Stand firm. As pressure builds, faith isn't just a nice idea, it's your anchor. Now, about timing. No one's got the calendar marked, but let's be honest, the signs feel urgent. This isn't just about building a bunker or hoarding canned beans. Real preparation starts inside, spiritually. Here's the twist. Beyond all the chaos, there's hope, restoration. A promise of something greater waiting on the other side. So the real question isn't just how close are we, but are we ready? Will we ignore the warnings, let fear take over, or stand strong in faith? After everything we've covered, do you believe we're close? Are you living like you're prepared, or just hoping for more time? What needs to change starting today? If time ran out sooner than expected, would you be ready?